Hello. Hi. Hi. How are you? I'm going to make sure everything's working here. There we go. All right. Hiya. Hiya. Hi, everybody. Julia's going to be joining me tonight. And I just want to make sure all the bells and whistles are working here. So before she jumps on, and make sure everybody can hear me and that you can be seen and I can be seen. And hiya. If you're joining me from Instagram, where I was just live a moment ago, welcome back. I look forward to sharing the doodad that we've got coming up today. So I'm very excited about this. I'm waiting for Julia to join in here. She should be with me anytime now. Oh, there's Simon Dog. There's Simon the Wonder Dog. Hi, there you go. Hi, can you say hi? No? Up there, people up there. No? Okay, all right. Well, so yeah, this weekend I was doing a talk, a demonstration for the Metal Art Guild of Southern California, or Metal Art Society of Southern California, MASIC, and they had asked me to do a demonstration of the basket settings using the stencils that Chris Anderson from Lion Punch Forge had created and sells on his website at Lion Punch Forge. They are fantastic. If you haven't seen them or used them, go check them out. They are really great for helping you line up your work and get things even and hold it together in place for doing things like 4 and 6 and 8 and 5 prong baskets. And I use them for more than that. I use them for all kinds of soldering situations. They have been incredibly helpful for that. If you are working on any kind of setting that you can't quite get it quite together, you know, you can do non-traditional settings and more traditional work as well. They're really good for that. If you are looking forward to having any kind of problem, you know, kind of getting things organized on your workbench, they're really great. So anyway, that's what I was doing this weekend. And so these things, they're awesome. They have like they're titanium soldering templates. So I've demonstrated them on one of the other tooltips if you haven't seen that. But love Chris, love Lion Punch Forge, of course. And so hopefully he'll be popping up here in the chat. Hi, everybody. So while I was doing that, following my lecture was a lapidary artist that was, you know, demonstrating this thing, and he had the sort of lap table that had the spinning wheel that has that allows you to be able to cut and shape your lapidary stuff, and a cutting table that allows you to slab out and shape pieces as well. So one, you're working on kind of a flat surface, and the other, you're working on a perpendicular surface. And I'm working with diamond burrs quite a lot. I did a diamond burr workshop this weekend and on Sunday. And I love working with diamond burrs. They're really great to have in the studio. If you don't have a set of diamond burrs in the studio, go get some, because they're only like 14 bucks for a set of them. And I like the burrs and the wheels. They usually are like under, you know, easily under 20 bucks. They're usually like, you know, $9 to $14 range, and you can find them on Amazon. You don't need to get the centered ones, just the adhered plated ones work great and for what we do, and they're great for doing things like shaving an edge off of a stone if your bezel's a little too small. A little cheat there. Or if you've got something like beach glass that doesn't quite have a flat back and you want to put it in a bezel, or you need to take a sharp edge off of something like a piece of beach glass. Great for stuff like that. So diamond burrs are fantastic for cutting beads in half and more. So I'm gonna grab here we go. I'll grab my diamond burrs while we're talking about this. And so I've got this set of wheels with 12 bucks, right? So that's 12 bucks. So anyway, it's they're not very expensive. So those are the burrs. as you can see. And, but I made this little doodad this weekend while I was watching this lapidary artist work and do his talk. And it was really inspiring to me to be able to do that. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys and how I actually made it. So if you have some questions, if you're interested in, you know, where I got it and so on, I'll try and put some links in the notes below so you guys can see that later on. But yeah, I just sort of grabbed them on Amazon. So yeah, check it out. So hey everybody, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to add them to the chat. Put them right in there. Hit like, smash that button. If you are subscribed, you will be notified anytime we go live to let you know that if we've got something like tooltips going on, or and I'm doing something like this, or if I'm doing flow jewelry and working in the studio, and you just want somebody to work along with, or if you have a question, you can pop it in the chat and let me know kind of where you are and what you're thinking about. There you go. So yeah, oh hey Jen, how are you? Hello. So yeah, I'm just waiting for Julia to pop in here. She should be here anytime now. So yeah, if you have questions about the diamond burrs, let me know. Like I said, the diamond wheels and little cutting things like this are fantastic for working with, you know, cutting stuff, shaving stuff down, flattening the back on things, and you don't have to have the whole lapidary setup just to make minor changes and things. And I'm not suggesting that this is a solution for people that want to, you know, do some heavy duty lapidary work in their studio, but it's a great little shortcut and a great little tool to have if you need to like make some changes and shift around stuff. So hello, here comes Julia. Hi. Here she is, her little sunshiny face. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine. I'm just trying to get myself in here.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
Hi. So yeah, I was just letting everybody know what I was going to be talking about tonight and talking about some of the burrs and things. And we've got a couple of people joining us live. Jen Serene's out there. Hi, Jen. Jen's
yeah, hi, Jen. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? I just switched to my lavalier mic.
Yep, I got mine on.
Lavalier mic for the win.
Lavalier. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Jen's out there. If you guys aren't following Jen, check her work out on Instagram for sure. It's beautiful stuff. It's really amazing. So, but anyway, like I was saying, I did the Diamond Burrs Demystified workshop. I do it once or twice a year, but these little burrs and blades are fantastic for what I'm about to show you. You
got somebody who bought that class today.
Oh, with the Diamond Burrs Demystified?
Yeah, I'm going to email her and be like, here's the handout, and watch the video.
It's not too late.
You're not too late. You can buy it. You can buy a class. This is our new thing. Have you told them about this?
No, I haven't. I have not. Go ahead.
This is our new thing. We decided that since we have access up for the students in the class for a month after the class runs, that we're going to let you buy it for that month if you want to. Like if you missed it on the day that it actually occurred and you couldn't be in the class live, but you still want to get the data and you don't want to wait for 6 months or a year for it to run again, you can buy it. So yeah.
If you missed it this weekend, you can still buy it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's still there.
We're still here for you to answer questions. If you
Absolutely.
Want to and that kind of thing. But the thing that you missed, if you missed the live class, you missed the live interaction with the students. And we really want to encourage that because it's a vital part of the community when you get to interact with people and you get to share your information, which is important, and ask your questions. But if you're just like, I just have to know how this thing works,
I mean, life gets in the way, right? People have, graduation ceremonies and things that they have to do, mother's 80th birthdays and stuff. And it's like, okay, family takes priority. But if you still want to have the data, you can. And you can, as Jennifer says, you can always email us. It's not the same as being able to ask your question in class, but you can always email any of us, you know, Jennifer at littlemetalfoxes.com, Julia at littlemetalfoxes.com, or if you're not sure, just info@littlemetalfoxes.com, and someone will get back to you.
Yeah.
But the
And I
live
always
class is
recommend
great
people,
for
especially if they're
the
trying to get a hold of me.
immediacy of the answers. Sorry?
I said, especially if they're trying to get a hold of me, I just tell them to do info at Little Metal Foxes, because both you and Helen are like, did you see this email? I'm like, what? Where? No.
That's true. That's true. If you send it to info, 3 people are much more likely to see it. So, but anyway, I was
Put it in
saying,
my lap.
I was saying that the live classes is the big, huge advantage is the immediacy of the answer. Like, you don't understand something in the moment, you can say, I'm sorry, could you do that again? I missed it. I don't understand, you know, and which is
Right.
which is lovely. And the 9 times out of 10, there's somebody else in the class that missed it too, and is really appreciating the fact that you asked that question.
Absolutely. Well, and I love the fact that, you know, a lot of the people that are in our classes, because they are doing workshops all over the world, have lots and lots of information that they're sharing too, that are links and tips and things too. So
Just
anyway,
getting some water. Yeah, and turning off the heater, which was making a lot of noise. Yeah, it's
Okay.
really wonderful to have, you know, one of the upsides of the live class is the same upside of a live class in person, is that you got to meet new people and find out stuff about how it's done in other places. What do you have a comment or something online that I can't see?
Yes, Valerie is out there. Hi, Valerie. Yes, so Valerie is amazing. And I'm gonna yeah, did you find Michael's has some? Oh, good. So Michael's has the little boxes that I'm gonna show you. And it's only like 84 cents a piece. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's always amazing to have people in the class like Valerie who can share those kinds of tips with you. And I will yeah. So if you can, I don't know if you can keep an eye on the chat while I'm doing this.
Yeah, I should have brought my iPad in, but I can go get that.
Let's see if I can.
Or I can try to see. Let me see what I can do on my computer, because you know, I'm not as organized as usual because I came flying in sideways from my tutoring side of things.
Drifting in to the driveway.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, yeah. If you can do that. Actually, I'll let them know what's coming up if you want to go get your iPad.
No, it's okay. I'll stay here and do it from here. I'll figure it out. I'll get it. I'll get it figured out.
Coming up this tomorrow. Coming up tomorrow is the alternative stone setting, back setting, and that has a couple of seats left in it. And it's a really good alternative stone setting, especially if you've got some fancy shaped stones that you're like, I can't quite figure out how to get this set. Things that are, you know, trapezoidal or, you know, pear shaped or whatever. It's really great for that. And to add an unusual look and a perfectly looking finished bezel around the top, or alternative sort of setting. So anyway, yes, alternative settings, back set is tomorrow. There's a couple of seats left in there. Cuttlefish bone and gravity casting. So for those of you that are like, I want to do casting in my little studio, but I don't have, you know, $1 billion spare dollars to set up my lost wax casting thing, but I want to start small. Saturday, I'm going to be doing the gravity casting and getting that done. So you can cast in a small studio at your solder bench and in ways that are a little bit easier. So if you're interested in an introduction to casting, that's a good place to start. And that's going to be on Saturday. Julia is also doing the adding kombu gold to your work. She's doing that on Saturday as well, which is beautiful, and introducing the new borophilic burnishers. What? Those are special.
Yes. These are so cool.
Yes. Made by Andre Glass, Tisha Abramson. And yeah, those are so amazing.
I mean, they're so cool.
Yeah.
I haven't had much chance to play with them yet, but I'm going to do a little bit more tomorrow so I can actually show people them while in the class. but
They're
you
so
can make
cool.
these yourself. You
Yeah,
can make these yourself.
Andre Glass's Tisha Abramson is going to do a workshop with us. So to make those. So we're really excited about that.
I know,
Also,
make all these cool shapes.
yeah. Also, if you missed the marquee cup vessels class and you were like, oh, it was not a good time, we had to reschedule it. So it's coming up on next Wednesday, the 8th. So you can catch it then. And care and feeding essentials of your rolling mill. And I was just saying, a lot of people are really intimidated by rolling mills because they've been beat by instructors for touching a rolling mill. Everybody's like, it's too precious, don't touch it. And such an essential tool, and they're not that expensive. You can get less expensive versions to start you out and then gear up from there if you need to. But there's some good economy mills that work great in a small studio that you can get for, you know, $300, and they work great. And they have like combination mills and rollers that change out, and they're not that hard to do. And rolling mills need maintenance. I'd like to demystify that and make it feel like you feel more comfortable working with that tool, because it's such an essential, great tool in the studio. So anyway, and we got a bunch of chain classes and stuff coming up after that. But let's get down to it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to see what we can do? You got an eye on the thing? There we go.
Yes, I'm watching the chat in the other window. So
Okay.
I
All right.
just have to switch back and forth. If you see my eyes wander off to the edge of the screen, it's because I'm looking at the chat.
Okay. Let me see if I can, because there's
People
only
aren't going to be looking at me anyway. They're going to be looking at you, Dylan.
since there's only two of us, I can't spotlight my camera. So if
Oh,
you
I can come in with my phone and then you can.
do that.
Let me
Do
do that.
Okay.
Look
So
at us solving that problem on the fly.
So what I was going to say is I did the demystifying burrs this weekend, and diamond burrs. And these things, like I said, not expensive. So you can get your little mini lapidary setup done for like next to nothing. So if you go to Michael's and find the little box that I'm using and a sponge, it's like $3, and the burrs are like $12. So there you go. Okay, and
Let me in with my phone and then you'll be able to spotlight yourself.
here we go. I think we got it. Gotcha, right? Got you in there. Okay. So now I'm going to spotlight this. Hello. Let's see, spotlight me.
There we go.
Hi, everybody. Okay. So yeah, so little diamond burrs and wheels, and these are.
So did they come in that box or did you put them in that box?
No, they came in a full box. Doop, doop. They were
See,
like,
because storage is never trivial, right? And so if they come in the thing that you can store them in, that makes them even better.
ta-da! Yeah. So these are great, and they come in all different little sizes and shapes. You can get them in a lot of different grips, but I'm not going to go into all the diamond burr stuff tonight. But what as I was saying, I did a lecture for MASFIC this weekend, and the lapidary artist inspired me to make this gadget just in my own head. I was like, wait a minute, I think I can make one of these, because I was demonstrating this guy and how to use the wheels to be able to sand things down, cut beads in half, and shape different things. And so I love having these in the studio. And again, it's no secret that I like these. If I'm doing something like a stone and a bezel, and the stone's just a little too big or there's too sharp a point, you can shape it down just a little bit with one of these wheels. But my problem has always been that the spray from this gets all over the place, because when you're working with diamond wheels, you have to work with water. You have to work wet.
Yes, you have to work wet. You have to work wet, people.
Yeah. And so my solution in my little studio has always been using a little container like this.
Which apparently is a crayon box.
Basically, yeah. So it's like a little paper clip storage box, and they're called
like Valerie just said, they were called like a crayon storage box or something.
Like crayon storage boxes, yeah, or what are they? Just
clear stacking crayon box.
Yeah, or
Simply Tidy online. There's a
that's
20% discount, so only 84 cents a piece.
It actually says crayon box right on there. And I love this
Michael's.
one because what I've always done is just kept my sponge in here. And so I get it wet and I can push down on it and you can see the water come up in there. So I can work wet, drill a bead, drill a piece of beach glass or something like that. And I've got my little, Macanudo box that it's like a little cigar box. And I just put stuff in there and it just kind of keeps the water from going anyplace, but it's not really effective. And the water gets everywhere and the spray gets everywhere. I'm wiping everything down afterwards. But like I said, this weekend, I was very excited when I had this epiphany. So I'm gonna switch my camera over here so you guys can see what I'm using this for. There we go. Ha ha ha. Hello. There we go. So what I've usually got here at my bench, there's my Macanudo box that I usually use for this kind of thing, and all the wires for my computer. There we go. But I'm working on a whole bunch of backsetting pieces and examples right now. But there's two things that I need for this that I use anyway. One of them is this tool, and it is it's a holder for my flex shaft. So the flex shaft fits into the hole and it tightens down, but this clamps onto your bench or onto your bench pin, which I usually do. Just clamp it, kind of right onto, there we go. Clamp it right onto my bench like that. And so you can insert your flex shaft, and because of the little slit here, it sort of grabs onto it. There's all kinds of other versions of this that are, plastic and fit into a vise.
Yeah, there's a really small one. When you get done with this, I can show you. There's a little Delrin one that you can put in a bench vise, and it works okay. And it would actually be fine for this purpose because it's lightweight and it wouldn't be affected by water.
Yes, absolutely. So, so with this, what I'm usually using is something like my my diamond wheel to be able to do the little touch-ups on stones and pieces. So applying this, open up my flex shaft. Here we go. And I always try and make sure that my flex shaft has a little bit of lube on it before I start this, just to make sure that if there is any water going any place, that it's not going to get wet. So I've usually got a little bit of like flex shaft lube and just sort of make sure everything's kind of lubed up before I start.
Seal it in. Yeah,
just to make sure it kind of stays protected while I'm working.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, you could put a shield of like a plastic shield or something over it if you need to, but
I guess you could just drill a hole in a like a milk bottle cap or something and slip it on there.
Sure. There's a piece of plastic that's bigger than this is. So what I usually am doing is working like, into this little box, and spray goes everywhere. So if you have a flex shaft that turns the opposite direction, like towards you, if you can reverse it, and this is fine. You can do it just like this. Mine doesn't. So I actually turn mine so it's toward me like this. There we go. Let me move that around. Here we go. Aha. So stay there. There we go. So I took the crayon box and I'll turn this down so you guys can see better. So I've got the crayon box here. And what I did was I just cut a notch out of that one side so that it fits right onto my flex shaft, onto the shaft like that, right? And the sponge, because it's wet with water, will, as this spins, it actually cuts right into the sponge. And the sponge is so soft that there's no drag or, dulling this down at all. So this works really well. So what I figured out was, after I've been using it for years, just, open like this, I was like, wait a minute. So I cut that. And then the lid, which I've only used to hold things closed, I was like, wait a minute, I can adapt that. So I cut a notch in the lid that goes down over my, over it like that. The blade itself was able to cut into the plastic and I used an X-Acto knife to open that up a little bit more so it wouldn't bind, and just on the side.
Mhm.
And I drilled a whole bunch of holes. And this has like a little gully around the outside edge.
Oh,
So-
sure. So the water that, that gets splashed, drains back down in.
Right, yeah. So as the water splashes, or if there's any water I need to add, it just drains right back into the box. So that was really
And
helpful.
it's just hanging on your flex shaft right now.
Yeah. So
It doesn't weigh anything.
no, it doesn't weigh anything at all. And you could totally, like prop this,
Right.
on your
Put a
bench or
little
whatever you're doing. I just
piece of
found for
wood or
me, it
something.
just works fine to hold on to it. So
Mhm.
then, now I've got a little lapidary wheel. What? Look at it go. And so it's turning this direction down into the box. So all the water it's picking up from the sponge is coming up to cut my piece and going down into the box. And it's
Is it
taking,
splashing a bit sort of to the left as well?
is it what?
Does it splash a bit kind of to your left as well as it
This
goes?
way?
Yeah.
No, it takes everything back down.
Wow.
with
Because
this-
without the lid, it would splash, right?
Right. So now.
Look at that. Oh my
right?
God.
I know. I'm so excited about this. So anyway, so I can like just cut my teacups up all I want, or slice them down, or with rocks I can shave them down around the edges if I need to. So like if a bezel, like if I have a point on a bezel that's too much, I can just and just use this as a little makeshift lapidary in my little table saw. But the diamond saws will cut right through everything as I'm working, and so I had cut real quick. I mean, you saw how quick it cut that corner off, but
Yeah.
with glass, with softer stones, with porcelain like this, it goes really quickly. But as it's spinning, I want to keep these things wet to keep the dust down to a minimum. All the dust is getting dragged back down into the box, and it's getting wiped off onto the sponge as the wheel spins, and is getting wet as it comes back around. So everything stays wet and cool, and I've got like a little spray bottle that I can spray it with. And anything.
So why do you need to spray it with the spray bottle?
Because I want to get this wet too. I want to make sure it stays wet.
You want the surface of the piece you're working on to stay wet, not just the edge.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But in total, like this is a piece that was part of a set that was $11. So this was about $1. This you can pick up at Michael's for $1, and the sponge is less than a couple of bucks. So basically, you've got a lapidary unit you can attach to your flex shaft for about $5.
Right.
Right. So,
pretty sweet.
Yeah. So yay! Anyway, so that's my little tool that I love for this now. Yay! Yeah, but for cutting things, for shaving things down, shaping things, if I've got something that's like a piece of beach glass that's not quite the right shape or size, it makes it really easy for me to adapt it, right? So I was looking for another piece, but yeah. So like with this, it's not quite flat. I like these big wheels because I can flatten the back down if I need
flatten
to.
the back a little bit. So you don't have to flatten the whole back. I imagine you just have to flatten the outer edge of the piece so that it will sit down like a bezel. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. But here we go. I'm really excited about this. I hope everybody gives it a try. I'd love to see what you come up with. I know there are going to be, lapidary people out there going, "That's ridiculous. It'll never work."
It is ridiculous for them because they have giant slab saws and stuff.
Exactly.
But for those of us who don't have that, I mean, shoot, I just have the little diamond pads from stoning enamels.
Yeah.
I'll use those to just kind of knock a sharp edge off of a cabochon.
But I mean, check it. If I have, my water is rolling down, it rolls right into the little hole. And I just want to make sure that it doesn't get so high that it's flowing out on the backside where it's attached. But it keeps this way my flex shaft is dry. And like I said, you could put, a shield here just to make sure there's nothing splashing it if you wanted to. But yeah, this is my
That's
new little
pretty
toy for
sweet.
the studio. Yeah, let me cut that off. It is. Ta-da. Gone. Save it down.
Melissa O says, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Jen Serene commented, I think this is apropos of your rolling mill essentials class. She's like, I've had my cheapy mill for almost 2 decades. She gives a big, high
Oh, yeah.
five. Yeah. And I was like, cheapy mill still squashes the metal,
That's
She's
right.
like, there's nothing wrong with a cheapy mill.
Yeah. The other thing I'll point out for people that aren't familiar with these types of little wheels, that these are kind of like an emery board. It has, diamonds on the surface. These last a pretty long time, but these are very inexpensive and they are consumable. But the cool thing about this is they don't have anything heavily encrusted or sharp on this edge. There's nothing there. It's just nice and super smooth here. But what it's doing is cutting by abrasion, not by teeth. So you've got, like a shaving extraction with saw blades and things that you don't have with this.
Right. These are safer, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're more like an emery board in that sense.
Yeah. So if I'm touching the blade, it's not, it'll wear my finger open if I hold it here for too long.
Right.
But
like anything,
the wrong way. But normally, if I need to trim a nail, it's fine. Like, uh-oh, I clipped it earlier with my saw. I can be like, oh, la, la. But yeah, it's such an inexpensive, cheap, easy way to cut down little parts, shave down little bezels, and and keep things dry. That it was like, why on earth didn't I think of this before? And then when I'm done, I can just take the top off, rinse everything off. I've got you want to be careful because there is a little bit of silica and stuff that's in here if you're cutting glass or ceramic or stones or things. They're trimming them down. This is going to get a lot of silica in it. So you do want to make sure that you're, rinsing things off and putting them away. But it definitely has helped, keep things much cleaner in my studio and making things a lot more safer, cleaner, easier.
Well, just more fun, right? Like if you're not getting slapped in the face with all of the water,
right?
It's like, or you're not having to clean up all of the splash from behind. It's like, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, hello there. Yeah, I would definitely say, if you've got a tool and you can modify it cheaply, easily, in a way that works better for you in your studio, why not? And you just want to make sure it's not binding on your flex shaft. So, my hole's big enough so that it's, so the shaft just fits right in there, and, that hole on top doesn't bind. It'll wear it away anyway. But I just sort of put my flex shaft in and started to close the lid slowly, and it just cut that groove right in the top. And then I just
in the perfect spot. And then you get your X-Acto knife out and you're all good.
Yeah, and I just opened it up with an X-Acto knife. So that was just, shaving it down and cleaning it up a little bit. So yay. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's my tool tip for that. Yeah. If anybody has any other questions.
Well, we'll put the link to the thank you so much, Valerie, for providing the link to the box. And I will make sure that we put that in the description under the video for today. And then if you let me know what if you remember where those, the bits came from, the one that has big flat ones.
Oh yeah, those are from Amazon.
Okay. This is just diamond burr set on Amazon or something.
Those are diamond wheels, diamond abrasive wheels, and the diamond burrs. Yeah. So I think these were maybe, I don't know, it's like it's 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's like 50 or 60 burrs in here. And it was like I don't know, maybe $14. So yeah, we can put them in the link for the the video afterwards for the live. But yeah, I'm so I was so tickled with myself. The Diamond Burr class on Sunday was like, what? I was like, I know, I have to share it with you guys. So anyway, but it's such a simple solution. It's such a simple solution. Then I know, like I said, there are going to be people that are like, you can't do that.
We have a few people in our lives who are like, that's the wrong way to do it. And it's like, well, but it's working.
This is what it looks like. And it was $5 for all of it. This thing right here. So anyway, yeah, that's the thumbnail for tonight. That thing.
No, I thought it was great. And your little reel that you did for Instagram has had, I don't know, some number of thousands of views. And yeah, other people thought it was great too.
Yeah, I posted it, I think. Yeah, I made it on Saturday just on a whim. And then I was like, well, I'm going to share that with everyone. I'm going to share this with the world because it's just, why not?
Because it's amazing. And I'm brilliant.
I invented like popcorn or something. Guess what you can do with corn? That's just what I feel like I've done. It's like, put butter on it. It's amazing. Yeah. So anyway,
awesome.
but yeah, I posted it on, I think, Saturday night, like at midnight or something. And I woke up in the morning and it had like 120,000 views or something. And I'm like, what? Anyway.
See, yeah. You're not alone in thinking that it's awesome. So
ridiculous. So anyway, yeah, I mean, but if you have like a little container, the other thing that I started to make first is was using like a yogurt container, this thing, and it's got like metal on it and has magnets and it like attaches to it so that I can do it like vertically, so it comes out this side. And let's see, here's my other one. So I can use it like a flat table.
Oh, I see.
So it's setting it up so that it's underneath the edge. And this is what made me think of it, because the lap table works like that, where it's below the surface, like this.
So how do you keep water on that?
That's the problem. So from those, you're dripping the water in this way. And because the blade is slightly below the edge of the table, all the water sheds in the inside.
Inside, right.
And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of clever. And I was like, and then he was using the table saw, and I was like, wait a minute. I think I can do that. So, but this one, this is stuff I literally had just in the studio. And I was like,
just sitting around, stuff to go out in the recycling. Yes.
So with this one, I had to set the sponge like against the edge, like around the edges, so that as it spun, it wiped it off as well. And it sort of was a little hinkier. So once I got this all done, and I was like, there, hate it.
Well, it seems like it was kind of fiddly, and probably it leaked.
It didn't leak. It didn't leak, which I was amazed by. Yeah, because you're using it in a way that, I was trying to use it like sideways, and that's why I was like, this isn't like, I don't want to use it. I mean, it'd be great if it was this way, but then it would be a problem.
Then it would leak.
Like,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, table saw. That's what I needed. And you can make a table saw real quick and easy. Anyhow, there you go. I even made a little magnetic cap for. I mean, it was just like, and then I'll do that, and I'll engineer it and hate it.
But that's actually really good, because sometimes that, it's like you think a thing is going to work, and in your head it works. It's amazing how that piece totally works in your head, and then you put it on a body and it it does some weird thing because the balance is all wrong. And so or the object that you're making, the tool, you think it's going to work a particular way, and somehow you got the leverage all wrong, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then, but then it helps you figure out what is the right way. So you have to iterate, right? There's no other
Yeah,
way than to make a prototype. That's why you make prototypes, right?
Yeah. So
You have to
speaking
make
of which,
prototypes.
design class coming up in March.
Yes, because you have to design the master, right? Like designing the master is a multi-step process to figure out, okay, what is the essence of the piece that that the core of the piece that I need to make sure I capture, and what is extraneous, stuff that can go because it's really fiddly and difficult and it's going to drive the price up or drive the complexity up in ways that are not additive, right? So yeah, your design class is going to be great. I think you've got, I don't remember how many people are in it already, but people sign up because Jennifer is awesome. So
Yeah, I just, I think a lot of people underestimate the, one, they're like, I don't know if I have design in me. I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, come with me. Let me help you be able to practice that. And
right.
it's like handwriting. It's like riding a bike. It's like anything else. You've got things that you love. You've got things that your eye is attracted to. And your brain is constantly putting that stuff together, in its little dream world. It's constantly doing that. And sometimes the struggle that a lot of artists have is translating what's going on in here down onto their workbench or onto the computer or onto a sketchbook, so people know what they're thinking in their head. You can see it really clearly in your head. It's like, how do you get that out so you can communicate it to other people, or make plans to make it, or remember it later. And
Right.
so being able to do the design part, sitting down with the skills that you've got, and even some you don't have yet. You may have like a design that you're like, I don't know how to do this thing. Then you learn how to do that thing, and that carries you through to other pieces as well. But it really helps to organize your process of making. It helps to give you a springboard to continue making, and it gives you a well to be able to go back to when you're stuck, because if you know how to find your inspiration and get it down in a sketchbook or someplace, it helps you to continue to make stuff. So the design class is about, what did you say? Continuing the joy of making, being inspired.
Right. We were talking about this in the context of the sketchbooking class. I'm going to run a Sparks class again coming up here. It's not on the schedule yet, but I'm figuring it out when that's going to happen. And, people have this idea that practicing something is like playing scales on the piano. It's like, it's just drudgery and it's just awful. And it's like, no, what we're trying to do is make sure that the classes that are helping you practice kind of foundational skills like design and sketchbooking and just general studio kinds of warm-ups are fun, right? Like there's not much point in doing it if there's not some joy in the journey, this is not algebra homework, people. The whole point of this is that it brings you some level of joy, and that though I quite enjoy algebra, but that you enjoy the process as much as the product, right? Because why else would we do this?
Right. I think for me too, having a place where I can collect those ideas, especially if you don't have time to be at the bench and work them out.
Right.
It helps me to be able to have a place that I can sit down and, I've left the bench and I've gone home and I'm still in my head processing, how I'm going to make it, or what order I need to make it in, or how something's going to go together. And I just need to work my way through it to get it done. These guys, I need to be able to figure out the attachments and how it's going to hang. And one of the gals, I don't remember who it was on Instagram a couple of days ago, had posted a thing with these parts and said, should I do a post or a hook? And I was like, neither. Do an integrated hook. Don't don't do that. Do something completely different.
Do something completely that you haven't even thought of yet. Yeah. And see, there's the brilliance of having a group too, because then you get
Yeah.
other people saying, well, what if you did this? Right. You know,
exactly.
like Lori Talcott,
Well, and
you
being,
should do this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, having also too, being in a class for design,
Mhm.
everybody's coming to it with fresh eyes.
Mhm.
So if you've got something that you're like, I can't quite get to this point, I can't see it, and somebody else is like, oh, it needs a ball, and you're like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Of course, that's exactly what it needs. So having even a small group of people that you can sit and work on your designs with can push you, to be like, oh yeah.
It's like
oh my
having a
God.
really compatible little study group, right?
Yeah,
Which is
exactly,
really
yeah.
what we want. For the multi-session classes, we want
Right.
people to, find their tribe in the class and find people that they resonate with, which we all do, because that's like we've self-selected to be here. So we're all part of your tribe.
I gotta tell you, man,
But
when
it's really fun. Sorry.
when I was in grad school, one of the books that I kind of ended up coming across and reading was Sun Tzu's Art of War, and for other things, for other reasons. But I have to tell you, one of the things that I learned about that in regards to doing things like critique and working, trying and being in a learning environment is that, cultivate your enemies, because those people are going to be your most honest critics. And because they have nothing to lose, they're not afraid of hurting your feelings. And if you can find people that are articulate and smart, and whether they like you or not, they're gonna be honest with you because they don't care. It's like I don't want you to just, tell me, and so people be like, oh, I don't like it. And I'd be like, why? And they'd be like, well, because of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that, right?
Or you can see it and you can be like, yeah, but I'm doing it anyway, right? Like you might, once you know the reason why, then you can decide whether I remember I took a writing class in college, and the criticism, it wasn't criticism, we had feedback that we would give each other. And the whole point was to try to show, like, what did this piece of writing call up in you, right? Like give you a movie of your mind as you read the story or as you experienced the piece. And then, sometimes what the piece of writing was doing was making you uncomfortable or making you sad or making you some emotion that maybe
it was uncomfortable.
Right, that you didn't necessarily, that was a little, distressing on some level. But if that was the intention of the author, then it's been successful, which,
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's the thing. It's like, I had a couple of pieces in grad school that were really, really dark, kinds of pieces. And people would look at them and go, okay, those are completely creepy. And I'm like, yeah.
excellent. Excellent.
Yes, they are.
Working.
It reminds me of so-and-so. And I'm like, So, but I have to say, finding people that, that can help you hone in on what you're trying to achieve, and working on not just, the technical stuff of what you're doing, because there's always techniques and technical stuff that you can always learn. You can always add that stuff in and layer it into what you're doing. But if you don't have any idea of your own voice and your own direction, and you're just reinventing the wheel, your stuff's never going to be that unique. So if you are, the band ring has been around for thousands of years. You're not doing anything unique by doing a simple band ring, but learning that technique is critically important if you want to make jewelry. So you've got to be able to do the technical stuff, but once you have that, you've only got half of what you need to make it your own. You've got the skills, but one of the skills that you need, one of the tools that you need, is design. And that, once you learn it, will last you, like, I think you said it the other day, it's like when you invest in a tool, you want it to last a lifetime. And that's exactly what learning design is. It's one of the best tools in your studio, because once you learn what you're doing and how to do it, it's like, oh, okay. And you continue to add to that. It's like, going to the trailhead, it's like you can hike around the neighborhood, but if you go to something like, the Grand Tetons, and you're like, here's the trailhead that way. And it's like, oh my God, this is magnificent. That's what design is when you're learning it. It's like, you see, there's a certain kind of epiphany, I think, that most people will have. One of the reasons I love teaching design, because I think I'm really passionate about this, as you can tell, but I think,
which is good, because you're teaching the class.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've had so many people in design classes, and not drawing, not talking about drawing. I'm talking about learning the design, and the design is inside you. It's learning how to speak it and learning how to get it out of you. And I think once people learn how to do that, they have this aha moment, or this oh, okay. It's like me making this thing. It was like, oh, yeah. So yeah. Anyway,
take her class, people.
yeah.
She's amazing. She knows a lot. She'll share it all with you.
Yeah.
And then you'll know it all too.
I love doing that. And when I was teaching down at the Savannah College of Art and Design, I was teaching, they were like, can you teach foundation classes like the drawing 2D, 3D? And I'm like, yes, please let me do that. Because I would have people that would just, they'd come into the class, and it was their foundations for a reason, because you're doing photography, graphic design, architecture, jewelry, sculpture, fashion design. They're the foundations of all of that stuff. Understanding how to see and interpret the world around you, and synthesize it into your own voice. And once you sort of realize what that is, it's like, oh, that's mine. It's mine, and nobody can take that away from you. That to me is like, it's spiritual for me. That's where the spirit of the soul is in that essence.
It's in that juxtaposition. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did have one last comment from the chat, and Melissa O says, are you going to work with the flex shaft people on a prototype that holds the flex shaft like that other tool, but this one holds the crayon box and the flex shaft?
You have to build a little shelf out of wood. So yeah, that's actually, I can put a little piece of wood underneath it, and it supports the box. So, but yeah, when I'm doing it, I'm usually I'm not setting it up for a long time. Usually when I'm doing it, I'm usually setting it up because I need it for a second, and like, and then I take it off and I'm done. But if you're doing a lot of it, yeah, you probably want to support it somehow.
If you're doing a lot of it, and you're like you've become fascinated by lapidary, and then you want Tarja or something, then you're going to get like the nice version of,
or a jewel tool. Go get a jewel tool. It does all that
exactly.
Yeah.
That's not to say that making it more stable isn't a good thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But I found that, if the wheel's spinning, this is so heavy, it doesn't move. So yeah.
Well, that's cool. All right. I don't think there were any other comments. Valerie was just laughing in the chat.
We love Valerie. We love Valerie.
Well, thank you guys, everybody, for watching us live. And thank you, anybody who's watching us in the aftermath, the recording. We love you all. Come and see us on littlemetalfoxes.com. Sign up for a class. Get to hang out with us in our own studios full of bats and Christmas cactuses and other random things.
Yeah. Well, also, I was just saying, too, that that one of the things that we might be doing, and I've already started doing, is flow jewelry in the studio. And like doing this, when I'm in here working, I can pop on. So if you're subscribed, you will get notified when we go live anytime. And if I'm sitting in my studio working, and you're sitting in your studio working, and you're like, oh, I'll just work along with Jennifer while she's working today. Or if you're
Exactly.
studying, want to hear the sound of, saw blades or the solder torch,
Or whatever it might be.
ASMR moment. You want to just sort of hang out with me in the studio, you can do that.
Exactly.
Helen, I think you and Helen were going to do that every now and then too, when you had a chance to.
Yeah, I haven't made any chains for a while, but I need to make some more chains. And so
Oh,
that
yeah.
is a classic slow jewelry, kind of like you can just watch every link get woven in.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a bunch of those on the bench right now for the paperclip chain class that
Mhm.
I'm prepping for. So when I'm prepping for workshops, sometimes that's when I did the last one. So I'm going to do another one. So
Oh, that's
prepping.
right, because you were finishing the marquee setting, weren't you? I think
Yeah.
you were the last one that you did for slow jewelry. You were finishing up a sample ring for your marquee setting. I love those little pita pocket marquee setting rings. They are the best.
They're over there.
And that your teeth, that's one of the ones that got moved. Isn't that the one that got
Yeah,
moved?
that's next week. That's next Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
So peeps, you can sign up for that next week. Or if you're watching this within a couple of weeks, you could still sign up for it. We don't have a mechanism yet for showing where the classes that have already run but that are still available. This is a really new idea. So we haven't sort of figured out that mechanism. But if you're on our mailing list, there are usually links to the upcoming classes in the mailing list, in the email that you get for our newsletter. And so those links will continue to work. So if there's a link on a post on Instagram, or if there's a link on a post on Facebook or in a newsletter, it will continue to take you to the class, even after the class is run, as long as the class is available to buy. Does that make sense?
That's me. Yeah. Well,
All
no,
right.
talk to you.
All right.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
All right.
Have a great night.
Good night, all.
Everybody have a wonderful